Hey, welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about healing from CFS or ME, and even if you've got long COVID, this video may be very interesting for you because the link between ME, CFS and long COVID is well made these days. So I'd like to share my journey with you. What have I done so far? I am not completely recovered. I do want to be very honest about that. But I do think that I've got some valuable information to share or to even just connect with you guys. I'd like to hear your versions and how you got to the place that you are as well. Because I think we are all being left in the dark a little bit by science and the doctors because nobody really knows what's up and they simply do not have a cure for ME. So we have each other and it would be great to just help each other out that way. So I'm sharing with you what I've done from being close to bedbound to now being relatively okay and stable. The first thing, obviously, what I've done is I've taken a shitload of rest. This is an obvious one because we all have to rest. We're forced to have rest because we simply can't do anything else when you've got ME. But why I'm saying rest is also because I was self-employed at the time I fell sick and I literally saw everything I built slip through my fingers. And mentally, I was still in the place like, okay, let me just deal with this illness very quickly, as quickly as I can, so I can just move forward and continue what I was doing. And because I was in that state, my mind was not getting the rest that I needed to recover. So that's why I'm saying, if there's any chance that you can find that acceptance, that mental peace, this may be something you want to look into. A great deal about healing is about listening to your body carefully. We need to connect with our body in a different and a much deeper way than people we may see around us. ME is quite unique in its kind, as normally the treatment for other illnesses suggests that it is a good idea to challenge yourself and push through on the physical level, like to build up strength, for instance. With ME, that simply makes the illness worse. So listening to your body and creating a connection with your body is crucial. I mean, I too, like many others, I have tried therapies in the first years of my illness. But the true recovery started when I stopped pushing through and started to listen to my body as much as I could. Listening to your body in general is very, very, very important. But even for people with ME, it is like 100 times more important than for people who are considered healthy. Because we need to know what we can do, how much we can do, and make sure we are not constantly triggering ourselves to do too much. So over the years, I have found that I have learned to recognize the part just before I start to feel tired. So, and when I stop doing something, whether it's reading or watching something or seeing somebody, when I go home or when I stop my activity just before I start to get tired, I usually feel that I've just about saved it and I bounce back much quicker. So another one that I think is really important is knowing where the trouble started. Obviously, even doctors don't really know where ME comes from. They say it's post-viral. Others say it is because of trauma. And then other doctors are combining them. They are saying, yes, it is because of a virus, but the virus basically tipped them over the edge because these people were already traumatized. So I tend to agree with the last one, where they say there has been trauma in the years prior to falling sick and that the body was already weakened and that virus was just too much. So it may feel like it started with a virus, but really there was more going on. So I can only go with what resonates with me. So with me, I can see that I was traumatized, by looking at that and diving deep into that feeling and working with that trauma, I felt like I was taking the power back into my own hands. I was not just a victim of a virus. No, there was more going on that I, on a deeper level, can work with. And I do see that all of the work I have done there has helped me, because I have removed blocks, I have broken patterns, I have gone through a great healing journey emotionally. And I do feel that a lot of us are doing the same work. A lot of people who've got ME are really diving deep as well. But if you're not yet, I would say this may be something you want to look into, just to see what is there to gain, what is there that you can heal, because there is quite a lot, in my personal opinion, that we can do ourselves in this healing journey. Another one that's really been important for me is meditation, because in my experience, I know ME, the root cause of it is trauma. And long-term trauma, it just has detrimental effects on the body. And especially stress, it kills the system. And meditation is the key to reverse all of that stress. What meditation has done for me, it has calmed down my system. So, and especially as I started out with 3 times a day, I knew that 3 times a day there were these moments that would just set the tone for the rest of the day. So the morning, midday, and the evening, I knew I had that moment, and also the feelings that you get from them. You get more faith and trust in the world, because let's face it, falling into a sickness or illness like ME, it's super traumatic. Because one day you've got your life and you've got your friends, you've got your job, and you've got, you're building your dreams, and the next day you are sick and you can't do anything, and all of those dreams, it's like you have to let them go. It is super traumatic. So recovering from that trauma, I feel that meditation has done a great deal for me, because it made me feel calm and it made me feel more confident in myself, but also I felt more guided and carried. And I thought, okay, but I am going to get out of this. It's going to be fine. And I feel that I have reversed that fear that was installed in me. Another thing that has really helped me is doing breathing exercises. They are all really basic things, really, but why breathing exercises? And it's funny, really, because I am a singing teacher and I've learned how to breathe properly. But because I have been in a long-term stress for that long, it seems like gradually, over time, I have become used to breathing high. Over here, I've become accustomed to just do that, and to hold my breath and not to breathe properly anymore. And when I was doing those breathing exercises, I could just feel the energy coming back into my body. So doing breathing exercises on a daily basis, I do them for about 20-30 minutes in the morning, and then I do them again often in the evening, has helped me a great deal. And obviously we need proper breathing for our bodies to function, but I just wanted to share this with you so you know what's happened to me, and that this is a natural response of trauma, is to breathe more superficially. So yeah, that's what really helped me, is to do breathing exercises and really, really focus. And the good part about it is that everybody can do it. Even the ones of you who are bedbound, everybody can do breathing exercises. During the first 2 years of my illness, I was unable to do any building up or physical activity in that sense. Even basic activities like taking a shower got me to such a level of exhaustion that I needed to rest for 1 or 2 hours. Every time I tried to do something, I got kicked back. So it was like the main message of my body was, I need rest. So rest is what came first in my recovery. Bearing in mind that I was a single mom of a 2-year-old and some things simply needed to be done whether I had the energy or not. It wasn't easy at that time, although my child did give me a good reason to smile and keep going. After those 2 years, I was able to do more simple things like going for short walks or going for short bicycle rides, like taking my son to school, for instance. And after 4 years, I was able to start doing very gentle swimming for a few minutes at a time. And over the course of a year, I've built up to swimming around 30 minutes, up to 3 times a week. And I've been going like that for 3 years now. So speaking of ME, that is huge. So in terms of advice, I know I would not have made it up to here had I not listened to my body. Having ME in terms of expectations and energy-wise, no day is the same. So planning can be difficult. It is important for me to be active when I'm okay and to rest when my body needs it. And also to not put a timer on the rest. Whenever I pressure myself, I simply get worse. So the idea is to never do more than I can to keep the ME in check. Whenever I feel a symptom pop up, I stop immediately and never push to do even 1 minute more. So, long story short, to not push myself beyond what I feel I can do is my main rule for a full recovery and a happy life. Another thing that you hear a lot about online is diet. Well, obviously I want to say to everybody, create the best environment in your body to heal from this illness. So personally, I would advise, and what I do as well, is stay away from processed food, toxins, sugary foods, alcohol, caffeine. And because that may help, that may really help you. And I do think especially the opposite is true. If you eat unhealthy, it is really not helping you recover from this illness. So I have personally always had a good diet. So food and changing my foods, even though I've tried many diets like keto and medical medium, vegan, I've tried all sorts of things, but it has not changed as much in my healing journey as I would have thought or wanted. The one thing that really helped though was cutting out gluten. That definitely put me on the right path. And currently I'm following the path of Ayurveda, which really seems to help a lot. So the main thing I want to say about food is that it has really helped me to stick to eating only 3 times a day. No snacks in between. I eat nothing but fruits at 8 in the morning. Then I eat a fresh cooked warm meal around noon. And then around 6, I have another warm, freshly cooked meal. And why I'm eating nothing in between is to help my digestive system, as I used to eat little bits here and there and never realized that it was weakening my digestive fire. And a strong digestive fire is the main thing you need to be healthy, to absorb vitamins or not to get stuck with toxins that make you sick. And also I have completely cut out raw foods. I only eat warm things and I drink warm water only. So if you're interested, here is a list of my current dietary plan and also the supplements that I've been taking for a very long time. Another thing has helped me a great deal, and it's not necessarily the types of food that I was eating, but it was how I was eating my food. And how I was eating my food, I will tell you, I was eating my food while being on the screen, while being distracted, or while still in the process of processing negative or emotional upset. As some of you know on this channel, I have been in an emotional, abusive, toxic relationship. And when you're still processing emotions, it is far more difficult for you to process the food properly and to digest it properly. So what I do now is 3 times a day, I take a moment of complete silence, or at least 2. I should not lie, because the third one, I'm with my family, and even though I do sit very still and talk with them, but I do my best to eat in a more conscientious and relaxed way. I like to sit and look at the sky and just think of good things. So what I would like to say and suggest is not just to check the food or the types of food that you're taking in, but also the way you are eating your food. Because this has, for me, changed a lot. We all need good things to happen to us in order to find energy and to win energy, to gain energy. So because ME, it's basically all about energy. We don't have the energy to live our life. It's like our batteries, they are just like chronically drained and empty. So in that sense, I have learned to take some risks. And these risks have been a lifesaver. And it may sound very strange, because when you've got ME, all you want to do is maintain a baseline and not do anything over that baseline, because once you do one step over that baseline, you will relapse, and it potentially really bad. But what I have learned in my process is not to just step over that baseline, but to find the things that are worth relapsing for. And when I first started doing that, it was, I was really scared, let's be honest, because being in that situation just makes you scared. We were chronically scared, or I was at least, but I can just assume you are too. You're just chronically scared for the next relapse. You don't want it to happen. But what I've realized, relapses are going to happen whether I want it or not. So I best relapse for something that's at least worth it. And not to do it too often. But let's say, I can't remember how often I used to do it, but let's say once a month or once or 2 months, depending where you are at, you find something that is worth relapsing for. So I, for instance, have relapsed over really wanting to do something fun with my friends. Whether it was seeing them, inviting them for dinner, and even in a later stage, when I was actually already doing much better, I even went out. And I went to see a concert, and this is ridiculous if you think about about having ME, but it has actually really helped me. And all I can say about this is, do find something worth that is within your own space, because obviously when you're bedbound, you can't push it that far that you're gonna push yourself to go out. You want to find something that is just over your own baseline. But why I thought this was so important is because when you've got ME and you're bedbound or homebound, you have nothing to look forward to. All you're looking forward to is like, when I get better, I will be doing this. But nothing that short term. At least this was in my experience. I had nothing really good to look forward to, because I myself was also canceling stuff because I was so afraid to relapse. And once I was trying these things on myself, I did relapse after, but the main feeling of the relapse was not that bad, because I felt like, okay, I'm really in a really bad place now, but at least I've got a really nice, good memory. And the energy of participating in life, even every now and then, but knowing that I am still out there, I can still be myself, I can still participate in life, was really what has made me feel better in general.
Routine. In my experience, even while being bedbound or homebound, having a routine is super important. Why? Because we're all part of nature, and as nature has its own routines like day, night, summer, winter, etc., so do we. So what I wanted to avoid was losing that connection. We're all supposed to be active during the day and sleeping at night, and so I always made sure I got up at the same time of day, around 7 o'clock, and go to bed at a set time as well, regardless of my insomnia in cases. Other than that, I meditate 3 times a day, 1 in the morning, then midday and evening, and I also do my breathing exercises in the morning. And I eat at set times. So anything else is dependent on how I'm feeling and my level of energy that day. But holding on to this routine helps my body remember when it is time to sleep, eat, and especially remember when I need my energy most. And I feel that when I break this routine by, let's say, going to bed an hour later, I find that I often can't sleep. So my routine is my religion. And as I just mentioned, meditation and breathing exercises are both helping me a great deal as well.
I've already mentioned it before, but it's really important to check the people who you've got around you. Some of you on this channel know that I've made a documentary about narcissistic abuse, being into that situation, and how many people are actually falling sick into sicknesses like ME, MS, burnout, even cancer, because of the exhaustion that comes with these types of relationships. I know it takes a lot of time for people to acknowledge the type of relationships they are in, but I do want to stress that it is always important, not even romantic relationships only, it is important to check who are you raised by, who do you have around you. If you're not well in yourself, if you've got an illness like this, it is really, really important to have high-spirited but generally positive people around you. Everybody's got something sometime, but generally, if the people are making you happy, make you feel good, those are the people you want to have around you. Because when you've got people around you who are negative, argumentative, not understanding, this can drain you even more, and that's not creating the right environment for you to heal. This also goes for other things. We need to check things. What are the things that take our energy away? These are the screens. With me, I've got an issue with screens. I can't stand screens around myself. Whether it's TV or phones, I find it very difficult to deal with them. So it's really important to know what gives you energy and where do you lose your energy, because you want to maintain that healthy balance of this is where I can go, this is where I go down, this is where I go up, because in the end you want to go up. Acceptance and letting go. My goodness, that was such a difficult one for me. Because the type of person I am a fighter. I push through. I make sure I'm going to make it. That's the type of person I am. And then being in an illness like this, having ME, being in a situation where you can't do anything and you just feel so hopeless about it. And that for me, it was really difficult to accept, because the acceptance means that you have to let go of everything that was safe and that you know and that you love. And I mean, in terms, not everything you love obviously, but in terms of jobs and careers and dreams and even friendships of your or the social life that you're used to. So this acceptance it was not a small one, but I did feel that at the time when I felt I had accepted this illness for its presence at this moment, it is when I told myself, okay, at this moment there's something going on in my body. It needs something. It may need time from me. It may need patience from me. It may need a change, a very drastic change in my life from me. It takes something from me, something that I have to do. But when I accepted the illness for being there at that moment, was very, very important for me, because because at the time I did not accept it, I was fighting. I was constantly in like a battle mode. I am fighting this illness, and that was something that was not really helping me much, because when you're in a fighting mode, that means you're not really in a calm or peaceful mode. And the calm and the peace, I feel, is what has helped me get to the place where I am now. And to me, this also meant people who didn't understand, for instance, because a lot of people just don't understand what it is like to have ME. So, but stopping to convince them or try to explain to them what it is really like, right? It's all part of the fighting to be, you know, like, or even sometimes we need to see doctors and we need to explain to doctors, like, this is what's going on. It's all part of the fighting process. And I feel like once I let go of all of that fighting, that inner fighting, I started to do much, much better. Lastly, what has really, really helped me is to see what this illness has actually given to me. And this, again, is a tough one. It's a tough illness, but it has taught me an incredible amount of lessons, and mainly life lessons. But what it has taught me is compassion, more empathy, more patience, self-acceptance, self-love, how to really be with myself. I've learned that I actually like being on my own a lot, that I like the peaceful state that I am in. And these things, and I'm not even talking about the inner processes that I've been through, that I would have never been on this spiritual, inner, whatever you want to call it, this journey that I have been on to really, really deeply get to know myself. I would have never been in that journey if it weren't for this situation and this illness, or whatever you want to call it. So I like to because it's also part of the just putting some power into my own hands. I like to view it that way. And what it has also given me is a lot of time with my son. And this is something that I'm really, really deeply grateful for. So there is always something to find that you can turn around. And looking back at the person I was, I just love myself much more at this moment. On an inner level, I am much happier person. And this is quite funny to think that even though I've got less, it seems like I've got less things that I mean, I've got less choices in terms of, you know, I don't have the choice to work more. I don't have the choice to go out and see my friends or be as social as other people are. I don't have these choices, and sometimes that is a killer of things. But generally, I feel I am more happy. And it really has taught me how to be happy with the little things in life. And that I want to tell you as well, that it's not all bad in this illness. Obviously, I do really feel for the people who are completely bedbound with closed curtains and who have close to nothing around them. But I'm really hoping even for these people, I have given something maybe that can help. And for now, I think this has already been a very long video, and I really do all wish you well and hope that you find your way in recovery. And I would love to hear what has really helped you and what has put you on the road to recovery, because this is a very complex illness, and I really believe that it's not the same for everybody. And yeah, I'd like to be inspired. I'd love to hear what has helped you guys. Okay, bye.